Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is Alex once again with another episode of the EOT News Flash. This is episode 75, a week of big things. It is another solo episode tonight because schedules are being what they are. Some of the crew is out in Vegas competing in the GP right now, so I know that Steven, James, and Holly are out there right now, so go kick butt, guys. Bring home big trophies and stuff. But while they're out there defending, honor and glory and whatnot, we're here back in the studio, and we've got three whole days of pretty big announcements. We are right in the middle of WotC's sort of annual, at this point, announcement week, or where they basically rip the curtain off and they're just like, guys, look at all this sweet stuff we're about to show you guys. So I'm going to do a little bit of magic real quick and make that appear on the screen. If you're watching this on YouTube, as always, thank you. We're just going to walk through these and just talk about the ramifications, because some of these are pretty big. And let's not waste any time. Let's start with Monday. Metamorphosis 2.0. This is the sequel to Metamorphosis that Mark Rosado wrote around this time last year, in which they unveiled the new standard rotation, set design, paradigm thing, what have you. And that was the big shift there, was that we were going from 3 sets, typically a big, small, or big, small, big sort of design standpoint, down to 2. So our last 3 set block was Cons of Tarkir, which featured that, our Fate Reforged, there we go, not Fate Foretold, and Dragons of Tarkir, and then we shifted into the 2-block paradigm, kicking out with Balthazar Zendikar, followed by the Gatewatch, and henceforth on to where we are now. So that apparently created some great things, and I agree, and then we'll go through that here in the article, and apparently created a lot of problems. So let's dig into that really, we're just going to go point by point right here, guys. Let's have some fun with this. So more sets per year, more worlds per year. That's a huge deal. I mean, I can't be the only person who got tired of being on Ravnica once it was time for the stupid Dragon's Maze to be run. My God. I mean, the last 3 set block that I thoroughly enjoyed was probably Scars of Mirrodin, because we got to see the initial siege, the takeover, and Mirrodin besieged, and then finally its completed form as New Phyrexia. I thought that was, just the overall arc of that story being told in 3 blocks was fantastic. But when you have less sets to worry about, you get to change worlds faster. So already in the past year, we have seen a return to Zendikar. We've gone back to Innistrad. We've seen Kaladesh now. We've seen Kaladesh as well. And in a short couple of months, we get to go to Ixalan. And oh my goodness, guys, we'll get to that here in a bit. But Ixalan, it's super exciting. So that's awesome. We having more worlds per year is fantastic. Success number 2: more large standalone draft sets. That's also fantastic, because that means you got to have more just triple whatever set drafts. No more of this Return to Ravnica, Gatewatch, Dragon's Maze. None of that nonsense. You got cons, or in this case, you got shadows, or Kaladesh. And you only threw in 1 extra pack. And that's great, and I think that's a huge change, because I cannot recall a time where I actually enjoyed drafting a multi-set draft, and that's actually going to be impacted here, and we'll do that here in just a minute. So, good thing number 3, being quicker storytelling. I can't be the only one, again, who hated having to slog through month after month after month, because you guys remember how it used to be. You get the fall set, which would be like Return to Ravnica, and then we'd have to wait until the next year to get Gatecrash, and then even later in that year to get Dragon's Maze, and the fatigue just sets in so fast. But now the way they're doing with just 2 sets, and that the rate that they're pumping out this story content is it's fantastic. So you don't have to wait around a long time to find out what happens to the next part of the story. I think it's fantastic. Success number 4, Planeswalker X. Cool, whatever. They're not for me, but they might be for you, and those are fantastic, so they're great. Challenge number 1, however, the 2-year rotation. I have made no small... Look at Liliana right there. Man, she's awesome. I have made no small secret that I think that the massive amount of complaints to the original change, which would have cut down from a 2-year to once... So let me make sure I read this. The 2-block model allowed us to change how we rotate standard. Instead of using 2 years worth of sets, we can now use 18 months worth, rotating twice a year, once every 6 months. Nobody liked that idea. And that created a lot of problems because now we're having cards that were never designed to be played together. And we'll get to a ramification of that here in just a minute. I will make no small secret. I think that was a mistake for them to listen to the community on that. It's like, just let Wizards do their job, people. They already planned out and designed 2 years worth of sets using this rotation schedule in mind, and you're going to complain, and then we have the situation we're in now, in which we've resulted in multiple standard bannings in less than 6 months. That's a problem. We need to keep our mouths shut for once. That's all I'm going to say there. Next challenge, small sets. Small sets are no fun. You cannot deny that. You know, when, especially like if you like buying sealed product, if you go out and buy a box of Dragon's Maze, you would have been horribly disappointed in your Dragon's Maze box unless you pulled multiple voice resurgences like somebody did back in the day. Not to brag, but small sets don't go over all that well, especially when you have big, small. Like a set like Avacyn Restored is a little bit unique because it was big, small, big, with Dark Ascension being the small set. But it just creates this weird problem. There's not enough design, there's not enough space to put all the cards you want to in there, and so things end up getting cut that might have been vital to a draft archetype or just a deck in general or an archetype in standard. And so I've never liked small sets, and it's just not enough cards. Give us all the cards. People love playing with cards. So, moving on. Challenge number 3. No Corset. This is a big deal. And we've seen, again, the ramifications of not having a Corset in it where you can print just generic, quote-unquote, answers to things. Where we've been over this before already, so I won't hammer the point home again. But if we had Pithing Needle in a Corset-like product, wonder what's coming soon, we might not have had the problem we had with Saheeli Rai and Felidar Guardian, or the problems that we had with Aetherworks Marvel. We'll get to all that. Obviously, when your set is full of a bunch of reprints and stuff, there's a little bit, I mean, it's not as exciting, but there is still a necessity for Corsets. And I really like thinking back to Magic Origins. We saw Flip Planeswalkers, for crying out loud. Like, that was an exciting set, I thought. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to that. Don't worry. Next up, challenge number 4. Too much damn focus on the freaking Gatewatch. I cannot be the only one who maybe has just a teensy bit of superhero fatigue. We're getting a new Marvel movie every 6 months, which I'm not complaining about. But literally, when it's the same recurring cast of characters, the Gatewatch, Jace, Liliana, Chandra, Gideon, Nis, we're just seeing these same characters over and over again. And yeah, it's fine. But we're pushing so many unique characters into the background. And so to put the focus off of these characters lets you just explore more worlds and more people. Like getting to see Saheeli Rai on Kaladesh is super interesting. I like Saheeli Rai as a character. So let's focus more on other people and not the Justice League. Ha ha ha. Challenge number 5, the Masterpiece series. Now, when they first announced this thing, people lost their damn mind. I thought it was cool. I still think it's cool. I've only opened 2 in my life, and I still think they're sweet as hell. But to continuously recycle the idea, I'm glad they skipped it for Shadows over Innistrad and brought it back for Kaladesh. Should they have skipped it for Amonkhet? Probably. Just because eventually you're going to run out of cool ideas, and the Masterpiece series is a very cool idea. You don't want to dry up the well before, you got your return on it. right there in the beginning of the article right here, cycle of diminishing returns. There is a point where it is no longer viable. See the future of modern masters. But that's a different story. Anyway, moving on. So, they want to solve some problems. Here's a big one. The 3-in-1 model. Challenge number 1. Fall, winter, and spring sets will all be large sets that are drafted alone. I like that. Basically, we're getting standalone sets. That's really, really cool. Challenge number 2. This summer will be a revamped core set. But wait, does that mean there's no more small sets? Yes! There are no more small sets. So let's scroll down to what some poor fool over at Wizards loves to make these stupid, like, animated chart things. Oh, it just blows my mind. I remember the first one that came out that was showing the new rotation schedule, and I could not wrap my head around it. But what I can explain to this one is very, very simple. Starting with after Ixalan, every set henceforth will be a standalone large set. So we're talking 4 sets, 4 blocks, 4 planes a year. And they're saying in the article here that we can, maybe spend 2 big sets on a plane if the story's that big, or just how they want to do it. But the fact that we're dealing with only big sets and standalone draft formats at that, it's only going to be triple whatever, let's see, eggs is, or soup. I love that they keep having to mess with their their code names, because back in the day, you had some really cool three-word code names. I believe RTR block was Control Alt Delete. Stuff like that was just really cool. So also, they're changing the approach to the Gatewatch. They're going to decrease the impact on the story of them, which is great. The masterpiece sets going to be in fewer sets, so we're not getting Indian Ixalan, and I think that's a great idea, because again, that is a very quick well to dry up, and that is a diminishing return idea right there. And then they're going to talk about, changing stuff behind the scenes, changing landscape, blah, 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 blah. All right, but all that's really, really cool. And the things to take away from that are basically, Liana there again, only big sets, standalone draft formats, and that's awesome. I mean, let's for example, I'll use Innistrad block as an example. Triple Innistrad draft is one of my favorite draft formats of all time. If I could go just draft every day of the week, I probably would. Blue-White Spirit deck, Spider Spawning, the Burning Vengeance deck, all fantastic archetypes. But as soon as you throw a pack of Dark Ascension in there, that ruins the entire format. And then you can't draft those archetypes anymore, because it took pieces from the format. And then they threw it all out the window with Avacyn Restored, and it was one of the worst draft formats ever. But that's not the point. But I like having self-contained formats. You get to draft them longer. But at the same time, you don't have to worry about, let's say you don't like a particular draft format. Well, give it a few months. We're gonna have a brand new format rotating in. It's gonna be great. As far as limited players go, I cannot think of a better thing for limited players, because I've gotten burnt out on draft formats, and I'm sure you have as well. More draft formats, the better, I think. Now, let's move on to what happened on Tuesday. As of June 19th, Aetherworks Marvel is banned in Standard, and there is a huge blurb about why they decided to do it. But I'm going to make this statement right now. I am sick and tired of the whining of Magic players clamoring for bans now that bans become, just the status quo. I'm sick of it. If it needs to happen, it will happen. Wizards will pull the trigger, but we just need to get the bad taste out of our mouths. I sincerely hope this is the last Standard ban we see for a very long time. I only saw Jason Stoneforge before now, and that's all we did. That was enough. That was dominant. This is ridiculous, though. let's stop complaining. Let's just move on. Play it one more time at FNM this week, guys. I don't care. But let's just move on. No more banning talk for at least another 4 years. Let's do that. Unless it's modern, Legacy or Vintage, of course, which nothing happened in those formats. They're great. People stop complaining about Death Shadow. Just stop. Street Wraith, stop complaining. It's an interactive deck. Stop complaining. Now, let's get on to the big announcements, I should say, from yesterday. This was the day I was looking forward to the most. I don't really care, I don't care about bans or restricted stuff. That doesn't really affect me unless it happens to modern and, whatever. Changes to rotation, I don't really play standard anymore. Not a big deal. But this, big product announcements, this I can get behind. So, let's just go through here. And it's a great video. The one thing I do like about Wizards is just how enthusiastic they get about all of their marketing material. So, that's pretty sweet. So, first and foremost, we've got Ixalan coming up. And I'm going to pull up the Ixalan page here real quick. Because there's a really... the box isn't big enough for it. But let me just read you the blurb here, guys. For centuries, the untamed jungles of Ixalan have hidden a coveted secret. Orazga, the city of gold. But no secret can remain undiscovered and no treasure can be taken uncontested. Unfurl your sails, saddle up your dinosaur, and battle your rivals as you embark on a journey to claim the plane's greatest fortune for yourself. Pirates and dinosaurs. And Vraska's a pirate captain. Yeah, that's Vraska right there on the screen. If you're checking that out, that's Vraska with like dinosaurs in the background. Guys, we're gonna have. Yeah, I should mention that there have been somebody somewhere found a foil uncut sheet of Ixalan cards and posted them online. I don't think it's cool that they did that, but it gets me excited all at the same time. And if we can get a decent, potentially high-res version of it that's been cleaned up a lot, because it is horribly, distorted. It's really hard to read any of the cards except for like the 9 that got posted first. But if we can get maybe a high-res version of that, we might talk about that. But until then, let's just not go there. Next, stake your claim on January 19th, 2018, and the second block of Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan. That just sounds cool. That just sounds neat. Gosh. I mean, we have Pirate Vraska battling dinosaurs. My gosh. All right, so we also have Explorers of Ixalan, which is an out-of-the-box multiplayer experience that challenges you to defeat your opponents along the way as you search for the lost city. Comes out November 24th, 2017. It sounds like some kind of arch enemy-esque product. It comes with four decks, pre-con decks, and there's game pieces in there. So maybe it's like a Settlers of Catan type thing? I don't know. That just sounds cool. Then we have Art of Magic the Gathering, Ixalan. Cool. Next up, dual decks. Merfolk versus Goblins. Maybe this will reprint some key pieces for modern Merfolk. Maybe? I don't know. We also have From the Vault Transform coming out this year, taking 15 of our favorite transforming cards, each with its own story to tell. Just for a minute, guys, can you think of 15 cards that transform that have even a remotely interesting story? You have Delver, you have Huntmaster, you have some of the Flipwalkers, and maybe probably Gisela and Bruna, and then turning into Brazella. I don't know, guys. These From the Vault products used to be super sick. Like I've only owned over one. I owned the From the Vault 20. But man, these are just going downhill from last year's lore. I don't know. What comes next, though, on April 28th? We're going back to Dominaria, guys. The original Magic plane, the Brothers' War. We're gonna go back and find out what happened when it was all said and done, and that's freaking sweet. I don't know enough of the story from back then, but just the feeling of going back to the literal beginning of maybe not modern Magic, but kind of where Magic's story really starts. Like the biggest storylines all stem from Dominaria. The Brothers' War lasted, a million years or something like that. That's really cool. That's super cool. Also, March 16th, 2018, 25th Anniversary Edition Masters Set. I don't know about this one, honestly. I'm going to need to see spoilers from Iconic Masters first. I just, like what I alluded to earlier with, like, the diminishing returns of Master sets. When they first announced Master sets, I was like, okay, cool. This is a product to get people into older formats that they might not be able to play otherwise, who cannot afford Future Strike Tarmogoyfs or Dark Confidants. Like, and then we had Eternal Masters reprinting Force of Will and Wasteland. Like, those are sets to get people to play older formats. Iconic Masters, it's gonna be across the full spectrum of formats here. 25th Anniversary Edition Masters, like, is it like a greatest hits? You know, like, now that's what I call Magic Volume 25. I don't know. I remain optimistic, but cautiously optimistic. Again, diminishing returns is kind of, there's a trend here in all these articles. But cool, awesome. Also, July 20th, 2018, or 20th, 2018, we're getting the Corset back to Magic. They've tweaked it apparently, which is, you know, whatever, cool. We'll see how that goes. And also, December 8th, 2017, Unstable is released. This is the, I would say, wildly clamored for. You know, people are just like chomping at the bit to get another unset silver bordered cards back into the hands of players. Like, I've played with some of the old, with the unglued and unhinged cards. I've pack warsed with unglued before. I don't know about this. I mean, it's going to be cool because we have, you know, modern Magic design being applied to really, I'm not going to say stupid, but really out there wacky ideas. And that's pretty exciting, I think. I will be curious. I mean, we're well over a year away from this, so and give it 2 weeks and we won't be talking about this anymore. But when it gets time to actually look at this, this year. When we actually get to it this year, I'll be very curious to see what it looks like. I know that for a lot of people, they love the full art lands in them. They were the first full art lands to be printed, actually, and the original ones from Unglued with the really like old school kind of like antique borders are probably some of the coolest full art lands ever. And then of course there's the John Avon border to border, just gorgeous lands, which I hope they do something just as cool as those. If they don't get John Avon to do the lands for this set, they need to get somebody just as good. So that's all very, very exciting. I like these announcement weeks because like it lets me kind of look towards it. We look towards the future all the time. That's what Magic players love more than anything. Is just more and more spoilers. We always want to know about the next set. As soon as the next set comes out, we're like, okay, cool, that's fine. Tell me more about the next set and the set after that, and it's whatever. So not a lot going on in Magic right now. Just a lot of, hey, the curtain's been pulled back. You can look at it, but don't touch it. We'll give it to you soon enough. So that is This Week in Magic. We will have the full results of GP Vegas. Maybe we will have some trophy winners amongst us when they get back. Who knows? But yeah, that's going to be super cool. Oh, also, the results of my Twitter poll came in, and I was really shocked. Maybe it's the transparency that I have on Twitter. I don't know, but I'm gonna pull it up here really quick. Out of all of the votes that I received, 100% of people believe that bans are good for Magic. I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys on that. You know, just for a little bit of, you know, interactivity in this episode, leave something in the comments, or, you know, find us over on Facebook, EOT Newsflash, on Twitter at EOT Newsflash, Twitch at EOT Newsflash, over on YouTube as well. Find all the old episodes and all upcoming episodes as well. I'm really curious, you know, what are your guys' thoughts here? You know, I'm tired of the ban talk, but I'm really curious, you know, why are bans good for Magic? We talked about that last week. We had the debate between Sean and Justin. A lot of good points there. So check that episode out. Some really good points were being made there. But yeah, I'm curious what the rationality is for some of these players, for these players out there who really think that they're good for the game. So I don't know. But that's it for this week. The short episode, just talking about all the cool things that are coming out soon. Get hyped for Ixalan. I cannot wait for pirates and dinosaurs. And oh man, that's just. I've already seen a lot of really cool photoshops of Vraska on a dinosaur on a renegade freighter or a consulate flagship. Just like, it's insane how just goofy they're getting, and they're following this. There have been some comparisons to Hearthstone already been made because of the Journey to Uroguro, I think is the expansion that had all the dinosaurs and pirates. So it is what it is. But thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll have everybody back on next week for a full breakdown of, again, all the GPs from Vegas. We have the Legacy, Modern, and a limited GP because somebody likes Standard apparently. And we'll also see what happens to Standard. Well, that's for next week. That'll change. So not just yet. So it's one more weekend of Marvel, and then better times ahead. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks so much for listening over on the MTG Cast. Check us out there every weekend, of course, over here on YouTube, where you can watch myself and the rest of the guys, just have fun talking about Magic cards all night. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you all next week.